The stars were quiet. Space stretched endlessly around a small escape pod, drifting near the neutral border between the Thalran Empire and unclaimed space. Inside the pod, a human lay unconscious, his suit damaged, oxygen low. His name was Eli Ward, an engineer from Earth. He had survived a pirate attack, but now floated alone, far from home. But fate had other plans. A large, beautiful alien ship appeared nearby. Its smooth, silver-blue hull reflected the distant starlight. It was the royal flagship Solareth, home to the royal family of the Thalran. The ship was not only a palace, it was a fortress. On its upper deck stood Princess Kalira Virel, watching stars through a crystal window. Kalira was tall, proud, and graceful. Her skin was a soft violet blue, and her long white hair shimmered like moonlight. She wore a royal robe trimmed with glowing symbols of her house. She was the only daughter of the Empress, trained to be perfect in every way, strong in command, cold in emotion. But even Kalira could feel something strange when her ship picked up a distress signal. "Highness," said her advisor, Counselor Tharn. "We've found a damaged human escape pod, one survivor. Should we ignore it?" Kalira turned slowly. Her golden eyes narrowed. "A human? Alone?" she asked. "Yes. His life signs are weak. He'll likely perish within the hour." She thought for a moment. Thalran nobles usually didn't care about humans. Many saw them as weak, emotional, or too chaotic. But Kalira felt curious. "Bring him aboard. I want to see him." Tharn looked surprised, but he obeyed. Eli woke up in a soft bed. The air smelled clean and fresh. The walls were smooth and glowing with soft lights. He blinked, confused. His last memory was his ship exploding, alarms ringing, then drifting into blackness. Where am I?" "You are aboard the royal ship Solareth," came a calm voice. He turned. A tall alien woman stood beside his bed. Her eyes were sharp, but there was something kind in her tone. "I am Princess Kalira Virel, first daughter of the Thalran Empire." Eli slowly sat up. He felt dizzy, but his mind was clear. He had seen alien royalty on screens before, but never this close. "You saved me?" "I allowed it," Kalira said simply. "You are lucky. A few more minutes, and you would have died." "Then, thank you." She raised an eyebrow. "Strange. Humans always speak with such emotion." "That's how we are," Eli replied, giving a weak smile. "We're not machines." Kalira didn't smile back, but something flickered in her eyes. Over the next few days, Eli recovered. He explored parts of the ship under guard, helped by translation devices. The Solareth was huge, filled with advanced technology, shining halls, floating platforms, and guards in white armor. Everything looked like it belonged in a dream. But Eli noticed something odd. People stared at him. Some looked curious, others annoyed. A few even whispered insults. He was an outsider, someone not welcome in royal space. But he kept calm, always respectful. Kalira watched him from a distance. She studied him like a puzzle. He wasn't tall or powerful. He didn't have sharp fangs or glowing eyes like warriors of her people. But he was brave and smart. One day, a loud alarm rang out across the ship. Lights flashed red. One of the main reactor cooling systems had failed. A small fire spread inside the engine deck. Engineers rushed in, but they couldn't fix it quickly. It could explode if not handled right. Kalira arrived at the scene, but Eli was already inside the chamber, his suit half damaged, his face covered in sweat. "What is he doing in there?" shouted Tharn. "He'll die," gasped one of the guards. But inside, Eli had opened the panel and was rerouting power with wires and tools not meant for alien tech. He moved fast, hands shaking, sparks flying around him. With a final twist, the system shut down. The fire died. Eli slumped down, breathing hard. Kalira stepped forward, looking down at him through the safety glass. "You could have died," she said quietly. "Better than letting this whole ship go down," Eli replied. "I couldn't just stand there." For the first time, Kalira felt something unfamiliar in her chest. Was it respect? That night, Kalira sat alone in the Royal Observatory. Stars sparkled around her like diamonds in the dark. She kept thinking about the human. He didn't have royal blood. He didn't care about rank or glory. Yet he had risked his life to save others, people who barely spoke to him kindly. "Why?" she whispered to herself. She opened a hollow screen and watched a recording of him again. His voice, his eyes, his quiet strength. "Human," she whispered. Behind her, Counselor Tharn entered. "Highness, this human may bring problems. The other noble houses already talk. They say you're too interested in him." Kalira didn't look away from the screen. "Let them talk." Tharn bowed. "As you wish." The next morning, Eli was invited to walk with Kalira in the ship's central garden dome. The air was warm, the trees glowing with soft alien fruit. Birds flew overhead, their wings shining with light. "You risked yourself for my ship," Kalira said. Eli nodded. "Didn't think about it much, just did what I could. You are not like others I've met. Probably because I'm human." She stopped walking. "Human? Are you really going to do this with me?" Eli blinked. "Do what?" "Walk beside me, talk to me, treat me not as a ruler, but as an equal." He smiled. "I treat people how they treat me. So far you've been more human than you think." For a moment, Kalira said nothing. Her cheeks turned a deeper shade of violet. "Interesting answer." They stood in silence, the stars shining above them. Neither knew it yet, but this was the beginning of something powerful, something the galaxy would never forget. Princess Kalira Virel was not used to confusion. She was trained since childhood to be firm, logical, and strong. She knew every royal rule, every diplomatic trick, and every ancient law of the Thalron Empire. But ever since the human, Eli Ward, stepped onto her ship, her thoughts became cloudy. He was not special in the way her people measured strength. He had no glowing eyes, no advanced cyber implants, and no warrior training. Yet he made her feel uncertain and curious. Kalira did not like feeling curious. It was not proper for a royal. But still, she found herself thinking about him. Eli, on the other hand, was just trying to stay out of trouble. He knew he was lucky to be alive, lucky to be walking freely, even if under guard, on a royal alien warship. But it wasn't easy. The Thalron people were cold and proud. The guards ignored him. The crew avoided him. Even the walls seemed too perfect, too quiet. Only Kalira spoke to him, and when she did, it was always intense. Like she was studying him, testing him. On the 4th day since his rescue, she called him again to the royal thought chamber, a place where high leaders discussed ideas, logic, and philosophy. "Sit," she said, pointing to a smooth, round seat. Eli sat, a bit unsure. "I want to test your thinking," Kalira said, walking slowly around him. "You humans are known to act on instinct, not logic." "Sometimes," Eli replied, "but instinct can be powerful." "I disagree. Emotions cause mistakes, and logic can cause cold decisions," Eli said calmly. "Sometimes people need both." Kalira raised an eyebrow. "Interesting. Let's try a trial, then." She pressed a button. A hologram of a burning colony appeared in the air. A voice explained the test. "A fire spreads through a colony ship. You can save the engines or the people. You only have time to choose one. What do you do? Eli didn't even blink. I save the people. The ship will crash. Then we rebuild. You can't replace people. Kalira studied him. She chose a new test. You are told to follow an order that would harm innocents. If you disobey, you'll be punished. What do you do? Eli crossed his arms. I disobey. No question. She tilted her head. Even if it cost your life? Especially then. Silence. Kalira turned off the holo. You are not what I expected, she said. Eli shrugged. You're not what I expected either. For a moment, their eyes met. The air between them felt heavier. Then Kalira stood and said, Follow me. She took him to the honor arena, a large room where nobles trained in mental and physical challenges. There, Thalron warriors practiced with energy staffs, dodging beams and jumping with perfect balance. I challenge you, Kalira said suddenly. Eli blinked. To a fight? A trial. If you win, I will answer any question you ask. If you lose, you will serve me in silence for 1 week. Eli chuckled. I thought aliens were more serious. I am very serious, Kalira replied. Are you afraid? He smiled. Never. The challenge was strange. It wasn't just combat. It involved dodging light pulses, solving puzzles, and reacting quickly. Eli wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the strongest. But he was clever. He used small tricks, bouncing light off his wrist mirror to confuse the sensors, moving sideways instead of forward like the game expected. Kalira moved like water, fast, sharp, elegant. But she followed patterns. Eli didn't. In the end, he touched the final goal beacon first. Kalira stood still, breathing harder than usual. Her royal guards looked shocked. No one defeats the princess in trials, one whispered. Kalira walked up to Eli. Her face was unreadable. You may ask your question. Eli thought for a moment. Why did you really bring me aboard? Kalira looked at him. This time, no lies, no protocol. I wanted to see, she said softly, if humans are truly what the stories say, dangerous, unpredictable, too emotional. And now? Eli asked. Kalira turned away, hiding her face. Now, I don't know what to believe. That night, Kalira sat in her private chamber. The stars outside twinkled like whispers from ancient times. She opened a holo screen and pulled up a recent recording. Eli in the arena, jumping, thinking, smiling when he won. She watched it 3 times. Why was she doing this? A voice inside her warned her. He is not one of us. He will leave. He is not safe. But another voice whispered, he understands. He listens. He sees me. She closed the screen, heart pounding. Human, she whispered. Are you really going to do this with me? She didn't understand what she was feeling, but she couldn't stop it. Meanwhile, others had noticed the princess's strange behavior. Counselor Tharn met with a few noble commanders in a dark hall. She spends too much time with the human, one said. She broke tradition, said another. Royalty must not show interest in outsiders. Tharn frowned. If this continues, the Empress will be informed. We may need to intervene. Quietly, one whispered. No scandal, Tharn nodded. We will watch closely, and if the human becomes a threat. No one finished the sentence, but the meaning was clear. The next day, Kalira invited Eli to the star balcony, a quiet place where only royals were allowed. It overlooked the ship's front windows, where the galaxy spun in a sea of colors. Eli stood beside her. This is amazing, he said. I come here when I need to think, she replied. They stood in silence for a moment. Then Kalira spoke, softer this time. Eli, do you ever feel alone? He looked at her, surprised by the question. Yes, he said. A lot, actually, even before all this. She nodded. Me too. Even among millions, I feel like a stranger. They sat on a bench. Not close, but not far. I don't want to be what others expect, Kalira said, but I must be perfect. Always. Eli smiled gently. You don't have to be perfect with me. Her eyes widened slightly. That simple sentence hit something deep inside her. Kalira looked away. Her voice trembled just a bit. Eli, if you stay close to me, it won't be easy. My people will not accept it. You may suffer. He looked at her seriously. Then, let them try. Silence again, but this time it was warm. For the first time, Kalira didn't feel alone, but far away, dark plans were already forming. Someone wanted to tear them apart. The royal ship Solarith floated through deep space like a glowing jewel. Inside its silver halls, peace still held. But a storm was coming. Princess Kalira Varel sat in her private study, staring at a star map. Her thoughts weren't on the stars. They were on Eli Ward, the human engineer who had become more than a guest, more than a curiosity. He had proven himself brave and kind. He challenged her ideas, made her laugh softly, and spoke to her like an equal. That was rare in her world, where most people only bowed or obeyed. But Kalira knew that something wasn't right aboard the ship, and soon her worst fears would come true. That morning, Kalira visited Eli again, bringing him to one of the ship's secret towers, places only nobles were allowed to enter. She walked ahead of him silently, the long white fabric of her robe flowing behind. When they reached the top, the doors closed automatically. This place is off limits, Kalira said, but I trust you. Eli looked around. The room was circular, filled with glowing data scrolls and floating memory crystals. What is this? He asked. It's called the Vault of Royal Truths, she said. Only those born in the bloodline may enter, or those we choose to trust. She turned toward him. Eli, I've been watching the council. They meet without telling me. They speak in codes. They change ship paths without my approval. Something is wrong. Eli frowned. You think someone's betraying you? Kalira nodded. Yes, and I think it's about humans. He stepped closer. What do you mean? Kalira picked up a memory crystal and inserted it into a floating reader. A hologram appeared, showing a secret meeting of noble lords. The princess has grown too. Soft, one alien said. She lets the human walk freely, another whispered. He could be used. Or removed. Eli listened quietly. They see you as a weakness, Kalira said. But I don't. He looked at her, his voice calm. Why are you showing me this? Kalira looked away for a moment, her voice was soft. Because I don't know who else to trust, and because I feel different when I'm with you. There was a long silence. Then Eli spoke. I'll help you find the truth. Whatever it takes. Later that day, while walking through the lower tech corridors, Eli noticed something strange. A group of maintenance drones, small robots used for repair, were moving in a way that didn't match their normal route. They disappeared into a vent. Curious, he followed. He crawled through the tunnel and reached a hidden chamber. Inside were strange devices, black, unmarked, not like the ship's normal technology. He tapped one with a tool. It hummed strangely. Sabotage, he whispered. Suddenly a voice spoke behind him. You shouldn't be here, human. Eli spun around. A tall alien guard stood there, one he hadn't seen before. I was just silence. The guard aimed a weapon. You're not going to tell anyone! But Eli moved fast. He kicked a power panel, blasting sparks into the air. In the confusion, he slipped away through another tunnel. Bruised but alive, he ran straight to Kalira. Kalira stared at the damaged tool in Eli's hand. You found illegal tech. On my ship? Yes. And someone tried to kill me for finding it. Kalira's eyes burned with anger. This means someone inside the Royal Council is planning something terrible. Eli nodded. Maybe they want war. Maybe they want to blame humans for something. Kalira stood quickly. We must find the one behind this. If not, everything will fall apart. She summoned her most loyal royal guards, 3 elite warriors who had served her since childhood. She ordered a silent investigation. We find the traitor. No one else must know. But it was already too late. That night, as Kalira and Eli walked in the garden dome, the lights flickered. Then a buzzing sound filled the air. A black assassin drone flew toward them, fast, silent, and deadly. Its sharp blade aimed straight for Kalira's heart. "Kalira, get down!" Eli shouted. He tackled her to the ground just in time. The drone flew past, sliced a tree, then circled back. Eli grabbed a loose branch and swung hard as it attacked, again smashing it into sparks. The guards arrived seconds later, but the danger had passed. Kalira looked up at Eli, still breathing hard. His body had shielded hers. "You could have died," she whispered. "I wasn't going to let it touch you," he said simply. Her hand reached up and touched his cheek. "Why do you keep doing this?" she asked. "Because I care." For a moment, nothing else mattered. Not the crown, not the ship, not the galaxy, only the silence between them. Later, Kalira stood before her royal court. She had summoned them all. Every noble, every council member, even Councillor Tharn. She stood tall, eyes burning with royal fire. "Someone tried to kill me," she announced. "And that same someone is trying to bring war to our people." The nobles looked shocked. Some whispered. Others looked afraid. "I have proof," she said, showing a hologram of the black tech, the drone pieces, and the intercepted messages. Tharn stepped forward slowly. "Princess, these are serious claims." "Are you saying I lie?" she asked coldly. Tharn froze. "No, Highness." "Then obey. From now on, I am declaring an internal trial of loyalty. Anyone involved will be punished under royal law, so." Turned and walked out. Eli followed beside her. "You just challenged half your own council," he said. She didn't look back. "They challenged me first." That night, in her private chambers, Kalira looked out at the stars again. Eli stood quietly nearby. "You've changed me," she said softly. "I didn't mean to, but you did. I used to think humans were wild, dangerous, full of chaos. But now—" She turned and looked at him. "You're the only one I trust." Eli stepped closer. "And I'll stay with you, until this ends. And after, if you want." Kalira's heart beat faster. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "If we go any further, Eli, I won't be able to turn back. Neither will I." Their hands touched, fingers locking, and in that moment, something changed between them. The princess and the human, no longer just allies, but something more. The halls of the royal flagship Solareth had never felt colder. Shadows stretched long, and whispers floated behind closed doors. The loyalty of many was now in question. The council saw Princess Kalira's growing trust in the human engineer, Eli Ward, as a threat, not just to tradition, but to the very empire itself. Kalira paced in her private chambers. Her violet blue eyes burned with fierce determination. The rebellion brewing inside her own ship was bigger than she had imagined. The conspirators were powerful, and their plan was simple. Use the hatred between Thalron and humans to start a war, one that would let them seize control while the galaxy burned. Her communicator buzzed softly. It was Eli. "I'm in the engineering deck," his voice said through the device. "I've found the hidden tech. It's worse than we thought. They're building weapons inside the ship disguised as maintenance drones." Kalira's heart raced. "Meet me in the armory," she ordered. The armory was a massive room filled with shining weapons and armor. Guards watched carefully as Kalyra and Eli entered. The human's eyes scanned every corner. His training as an engineer and survivor made him sharp and dangerous in his own way. "We need to act fast," Eli said. "If they launch a strike against Earth, thousands will die. We can't let that happen." Kalyra nodded. "The Council will not listen. They see me as weak because I trust a human." Eli smiled faintly. "Then we break their rules." She looked at him, eyes wide. "What do you mean?" "Help me gather the loyal guards. We take control of the ship. Stop the traitors. Then warn Earth." Kalyra swallowed. The idea was risky, dangerous even, but she knew it was the only way. "I'm with you." Together, Kalyra and Eli moved quietly through secret passages, gathering loyal guards and engineers who believed in the princess. Their small group was a mix of aliens and humans, those tired of lies and ready to fight for peace. But the council was watching. Councillor Tharn's voice echoed in the royal chamber. "The princess defies us. She threatens the Empire's honor. Arrest her at once." Royal guards moved fast, surrounding Kalyra's chambers. She heard the heavy footsteps and the clanking of armor. Eli stood firm beside her. "We can't let them take her," he said. The doors burst open. Guards poured inside. Kalyra raised her hand. "Stop! I speak for the future of our people." Guard sneered. "The Empress orders your arrest for treason." Before they could move, Eli shouted, "Now!" Loyal guards blocked the doors, and a fierce battle began. The fight was brutal. Energy beams flashed, metal clashed, and voices shouted orders. Eli used his quick thinking to disable weapon systems, giving Kalyra's loyalists the advantage. Despite being outnumbered, their courage and strategy won small victories. Kalyra fought too, her royal training shining through. She was no weak princess. She was a warrior. In the chaos, she saw Tharn retreating to the ship's command center. "We have to stop him," she yelled. Eli nodded. "I'm with you." They ran, through corridors filled with smoke and alarms. Outside, stars glimmered cold and distant. At the command center, Tharn was activating a communication device. "If the Thalron attack Earth, I'll be the hero," he sneered. Kalyra and Eli burst in. "Weapons ready." "Not today," she said. Tharn raised a weapon, but before he could fire, Eli disabled the controls with a blast from his energy tool. The screen went dark. Tharn was defeated. With the conspirators exposed and arrested, the royal ship returned to order, but the damage was deep. Kalyra's position was questioned by some nobles, while others whispered support. She turned to Eli. "Thank you for standing by me. I couldn't have done this without you." He smiled. "I'm just a human, but with you, I feel stronger." Kalyra took his hand. "I used to believe duty meant sacrifice alone. Now I see it means trust and hope." Days later, orbiting Earth, the Solareth sent a warning signal. The humans and Thalron began talks of peace and alliance. Kalyra refused the throne, saying she would serve as an ambassador, a bridge between worlds. She asked Eli to join her, not as a servant, but as a partner. Together, they dreamed of a galaxy where humans and aliens could walk side by side, under the cold stars, Kalyra whispered. "Human, I'm glad you did all this with me." Eli smiled back. Neither of us held back. The stars shone bright over Earth's orbit as the royal flagship Solareth floated silently. After weeks of tension and conflict, a fragile peace had taken root. The galaxy was watching. Princess Kalyra Varel stood on the ship's observation deck, looking out at the blue and green planet below. Her violet-blue eyes were soft but strong. The events of the past weeks had changed everything, and her. Beside her stood Eli Ward, the human engineer who had become her closest ally, and something more. The alliance talks between Earth and the Thalron Empire had begun in earnest. Representatives from both sides gathered in neutral space, seeking to build trust after years of fear and misunderstanding. Kalira had refused to take the throne as empress. Instead, she chose a new path, one as a diplomat and bridge between worlds. "I don't want a crown," she told Eli quietly. "I want peace," Eli nodded. "And I want to help." Together, they worked to repair broken friendships and build new ones. It wasn't easy. Old fears ran deep, and many nobles resisted change. But Kalira's courage and Eli's honesty slowly won hearts. One evening, as the talks paused, Kalira and Eli walked in the ship's garden dome. The soft glow of alien plants filled the air. Stars sparkled beyond the glass ceiling. Kalira looked at Eli, her face calm but filled with emotion. "Do you regret staying?" she asked. Eli smiled gently. "Never. All of this, it's changed me." She reached out, taking his hand. "You showed me a new way, one of trust and hope." He squeezed her hand. "And you showed me the strength of your people. Not just their power, but their heart." For a moment, they stood quietly, connected by something deeper than words. Meanwhile, the galaxy buzzed with news. The Thalron nobles who had tried to start war were arrested and put on trial. The Empress, Kalira's mother, faced questions from her own council, but chose to step back, letting her daughter lead a new era. Kalira's decision to become an ambassador surprised many. Some called her weak, others called her visionary. Eli stood at her side during every meeting, no longer just a visitor, but an honored partner. Together they planned to explore the stars, not as conquerors, but as friends. Months later, aboard a new ship called the Unity, Kalira and Eli prepared for a diplomatic mission to distant alien worlds. "This is only the beginning," Kalira said, her voice full of hope. Eli smiled. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." As the Unity lifted off, the galaxy watched, amazed that a human and an alien princess could change history. Back on the observation deck, Kalira looked at Eli once more. "I never thought I'd say this, but human, I'm glad you did all this with me." Eli laughed softly. "Neither of us held back, and that's why the galaxy will never forget us." They turned to the stars, ready to face whatever the future held.